Story 1. There is a very good reason Bloody Marys are served in the morning. Tomato juice rehydrates.
Bloody Mary, full of vodka. Blessed are you among cocktails. Pray for me now and at the hour of my death, which I hope is soon. Amen.
Do you want hangovers? Because this is how you get hangovers.
No wood house, no eggs, maybe ever again. Just skip a step and feed me some vomit.
Story 2. Fresh air and exercise. Never fails, though it can hurt quite a bit at the beginning.
One of the best hangover cures I experienced was getting on my mountain bike and doing the cross-country route near my house. It went terribly by all means, but it sure did kickstart my metabolism. Drinking a lot of water and exercising will very much help you rinse out the bad stuff. But an even better cure is prevention, though it isn't the most fun by default.
I always go for a run. It is grueling at first, but after 15 minutes or so, I begin to feel a little better, and by the end, while not fully recovered, I feel much better.
Story 3. Ginger kombucha. Plenty of carbonation, some sugar, and billions of good bacteria to reset your gut microbiome. Story 4. Depends how severe, but sipping hot broth is a good first step if you can't have a big breakfast. From there, try to start eating as soon as you can. And yes, sometimes one very small drink will help if you're desperate. Ibuprofen for the headache. It won't tax your liver. Rest, then walk, and then get your heart rate up later. Find something distracting to watch or read, because you can only rush it so much. Good luck. These things happen. Story 5. Smoothie. The tropical one is especially good, in my opinion. Smoothie King in Bridgeville has a Mango Fest smoothie. It has mango.
Laughing my ass off. I thought I was in the Pittsburgh subreddit. Smoothie King's Mango Fest smoothie is definitely my go-to.
Bridgeville is the most low-effort Dungeons and Dragons town name I've ever heard.
Story 6. I don't drink any more Chuckles, but I used to have a spliff, a can of Coke, and a packet of ready salted crisps. Story 7. Take 1 12-hour Sudafed, 1 Excedrin. Sit in the bottom of the shower and let the water fall on you for 15 minutes. Then have a fatty breakfast.
It's the noise for me. A white noise machine would do the same thing. It helps you focus and think clearly. I have a similar issue with occasional migraines. Sitting in the shower, in isolation with the water running, helps tune out the noise as my hearing becomes super sensitive. I'll also sometimes turn the TV on loud and turn the lights off because it helps me focus and ignore everything else.
Story 8. Gatorade or an entire bottle of water before bed, ibuprofen, and something with bacon the next day, and more electrolytes.
Something with bacon is a good remedy for many minor and medium ailments. Chuckles for the rest. You need surgery.
Story 9. I buy Gatorlight. I leave a bottle on my nightstand for me to drink in the morning. It helps me bounce out of bed. A nice shower will wake the rest of me up. Story 10. Advil, iced tea, some kind of greasy food, and pretty much a full day of napping, followed by a shower and a bowl of cheesy pasta. Story 11. I like to have a greasy cheeseburger, fries, an energy drink for the caffeine, and a Gatorade. Then get comfortable and watch the joy of painting. Story 12. A Caesar or a few, which for non-Canadians is vodka, Clamato, Worcestershire sauce, and a dash of Tabasco. It's traditionally garnished with celery or a pickled bean, both of which are delicious when you're coming back to life. Pho always helps when I'm under the weather. Alternatively, a big, fat, greasy cheeseburger. Electrolytes and water. Sleep. Feel better. Story 13. I'm one of the rare people who straight up can't get hungover. So my trick is the genetic lottery. Story 14. Water and more water. I try to drink a big glass before bed and then keep sipping the next morning. Most of the headache is just dehydration, so rehydrating slowly makes the biggest difference for me. Story 15. My girlfriend woke up today hungover. She works out on Saturdays, so she took her pre-workout juice, and she's saying it wiped out all the feelings of being hungover. The stuff has quite a bit of niacin in it. Maybe that's the answer. Story 16. I don't drink, but when I did, there was no cure for me besides lots and lots of sleep. Story 17. Here's what works. Before you go to sleep, Take a couple of pain relievers or blood thinners like aspirin, Tylenol, or ibuprofen. Drink some water. I don't know if it's true, but I was told that alcohol constricts your blood vessels in your brain. The blood thinners will allow the blood to keep flowing to your brain, and you get no headache. I've been doing this for over 50 years, and it really works. Taking pain relievers or whatever in the morning is trying to repair damage that's already done. My method prevents the damage. Try it.
Well, if your memory is working, you might remember it next time. Try it and get back to me. Seriously, I'd like to know.
Prepare Alka-Seltzer and put it next to your bed before you start drinking. Swill it before sleeping. It settles the gut and delivers the aspirin and water. Also, I swear by Party Smart capsules, they're magic.
I'm not sure you should mix alcohol and ibuprofen. That's how my mate ended up in the hospital accidentally.
Story 18. Alcoholics Anonymous wasn't for me. Next Friday will mark 14 years alcohol and hangover free. I don't miss those days or weekends. Story 19. Pickle juice and powering through it. That's how my people have done it for ages. Story 20. Not drinking rum. I've only ever had 2 hangovers in my life, and both times were from drinking rum. As long as I stay away from it, I'm good. The most I get is a mild headache and a little fuzzy-headedness for an hour or 2 in the morning.
Anyone who ever says this is not drinking enough alcohol, they have 2 pints of beer and wake up saying, I never get hangovers. No cheat, serlo.
My second interaction with rum involved trying to outdrink a friend who was both British and a high-functioning alcoholic, and all he had was rum. I don't remember puking on the bathroom floor, but then I don't remember much of that night or the next day, so... Actually, the one thing I remember about the next day is that I had to walk home, hungover and dehydrated as shit, in the Albuquerque sun and heat. That sucked, let me tell you. Definitely the worst hangover of my life, even if it was only the second and last. Chuckles.
Yeah, people have weird reactions to stuff. My dad used to drink a lot when he was younger, but then one day he started getting splitting headaches at the faintest whiff of anything with alcohol in it. He couldn't even cook with wine and shit. Shrug, bodies be weird and shit.
Story 21. I'll drink a sports drink before passing out. It seems to help the next morning. I'm not a fan of over-the-counter painkillers. They are taxing on the liver. Story 22. Hydration, sleep, and eating something to balance your blood sugar. I tend to eat soup. Story 23. Chuckles, the water from sauerkraut. In the Balkans, they make their own pickled cabbage. The juice from it helps with a hangover. Just stay close to the toilet. Story 24. Chuckles, in my 20s, I would have said that a shot of vodka. I'm in my early 50s now, and the only cure for a hangover is not drinking to excess. Story 25. Lots of water and a sports drink. It's better to be proactive and do it before you sleep, though. Story 26. Pho and an ice-cold Coke, plus puff a little if that's your thing. Another option is the hair of the dog. Maybe a Bloody Mary or Michelada with breakfast. Breakfast tacos, bacon and eggs, biscuits and gravy, for instance. Story 27. I don't drink, except maybe a glass of wine here and there, so I don't need a cure. Story 28. Take 2 Tylenols and drink some water before bed. In the morning, 2 Gatorades and 2 Mr. Freezes. Story 29. Got to prep before you go to sleep. 2 aspirin, or I prefer 2 Excedrin, and a big glass of water before bed. Works every time. Story 30. Sausage egg McMuffin. Chuckles. I haven't had a hangover in 25 years, but that worked back then. Story 31. 1 glass of water between every glass of booze. Hangovers are largely due to dehydration. You may want to piss like a racehorse, but you won't be hungover. Story 32. Have a cocktail, etc., then have some water. Another cocktail, another glass of water. Story 33. A long brisk walk, at least 5 miles, then an egg and cheese muffin, and wash it down with a few glasses of water. Works every time. Story 34. I haven't been drunk in a long time, but my go-to after a night out was McDonald's in my 20s. Chuckles. Story 35. 3 Excedrin and some water, then back to sleep for another hour. right as rain after. Story 36. I've read that taking N-acetylcysteine right before drinking and then magnesium right before bed really does the trick. N-acetylcysteine helps your body quickly metabolize acetaldehyde, the toxic metabolite of ethanol that has to be broken down again by your liver, and magnesium replenishes the magnesium that alcohol makes your kidneys excrete 260% more than normal. I don't get hangovers, so I haven't tried it, but I thought I'd pass it on. Story 37. Liquid IV. I tried it for the first time on a bachelorette trip in New Orleans, and it's like magic. Also, drinking a lot of water and taking Advil before going to sleep after drinking. Eating carbs I found to be helpful as well. Story 38. If you're like me, you can't eat unless you're not quite hungover and still a little buzzed. If you're past that point and food is repulsive, get coconut water and Gatorlight. I've tried Pedialyte and found it yucky. Drink those things and sleep as much as possible. A good hot shower, some Advil, exercise if you can manage it. Sweating helps a lot. Esteem is ideal. You'll know you're on the way out when food doesn't sound awful. Good luck. Story 39. A shot of vodka, Red Bull, 2 Tylenols, and as much physical activity as you can stand. Story 40. Water before bed and water the next morning. I try to drink a big glass right after I get home, and then keep sipping when I wake up. Most of the misery is dehydration, so rehydrating slowly makes a real difference. Story 41. Drink water. Not a ton all at once, but a little all day long. Eating mac and cheese, grilled cheese, milk, sex or masturbation, it helps the dopamine. Watching comfort TV series that you've seen many times before. Drift in and out of sleep. On day 2, get out for a walk or go to work if you have to. Story 42. I've heard other people say that taking laxatives before drinking helps prevent a hangover. I don't drink, so I don't personally know, but part of me actually wonders if there might be something to this. However, another part of me thinks it's actually a very bad idea and could lead to an extremely messy wake-up call. So I don't know. Someone with better knowledge of this, let me know if it's a good idea or not. Questions. Story 43. Coca-Cola, aspirin, a joint, greasy food like a burger, bacon and eggs, etc. I've also had luck with Midol, the premenstrual syndrome medicine, since it has aspirin, caffeine, and antacid. I think. It's been 35 years. Story 44. If it's a light hangover, then the 3 S's. Shit, shave, and shower. Chuckles, tougher hangover? Time and water. As soon as my stomach could handle food, Swiss chalet quarter chicken dinner. Story 45. More beer. More beer. Give me more beer so I can drink more beer. More beer. Story 46. Burger King original chicken sandwich meal. Hands down, it works every time. Since college. Always. Story 47. I'm trying MYRKL at the moment. I've tried it once so far, and I had a lot more energy the day after. It's difficult to quantify, but I'd say it definitely helped. Story 48. It's too late for it this time, but Zbiotics is a fantastic hangover prevention for next time. Story 49. Hoot, banana, pickle juice, gravel or Advil PM, 1 hour nap. Cured. Edit. McDonald's Coke goes a long way too. Story 50. Large steak and cheese sub, New England style, 2 bottles of essential water, a crispy Diet Coke, small fries, 2 Tylenol 500s, and a pre-roll. Rinse and repeat until better. Story 51. I haven't had a hangover since I stopped drinking in 2019. It's a foolproof plan. Story 52. Getting woken up at 6 a.m. by my toddlers before I've had a chance to fully sober up, having coffee and breakfast as usual, and then just cracking on with the daily routine before my body has had a chance to realize it's hungover. Story 53. Take Alka-Seltzer the night before bed, if you're not allergic to aspirin, with a big glass of water. Story 54. Pedialyte before bed is literally a cheat code. My roommate in college was pre-med and told me about it, and I haven't had a real hangover since. Also, a greasy breakfast sandwich in the morning, but that's more for the soul than the body. Chuckles. Story 55. I definitely find that drinking an isotonic drink after getting home helps with not being dehydrated when I wake up. Story 56. 1. More alcohol, but don't overdo it. 2. Benzodiazepines. 3. Sleeping pills. These work 100% of the time. Eating and drinking electrolytes during a hangover does nothing. Story 57. Dip a dildo in honey, sprinkle kosher salt and cayenne pepper on it. Insert it into the anus, and forget your hangover. Story 58. The trick is, after a night of drinking, right before going to bed, take 4 aspirin and 2 full glasses of water or more. It also helps to have liquid IV on hand or any type of electrolytes. The tough part is remembering to do that, especially after heavy drinking, but for me, it's just a habit whenever I drink now. I haven't had a hangover in a long time. Story 59. A pint of water overnight with a paracetamol. A glass of orange juice first thing in the morning with paracetamol. Story 60. A frikandel Bruges and a 500 milliliter monster, accompanied by a Zwer Van Nelly Shaggy. Story 61. The real question is, how do you avoid the hangover in the first place? Preemptive hydration is key, my friends. Story 62. Rehydration sachet when I get home. Rehydration sachet when I wake up. Roll with square sausage and fried egg. Story 63. 2.25 years of sobriety have been working pretty great for me so far. Before that, my answer would have been to keep drinking. Story 64. I'm 6 months sober because I got tired of waking up every day hungover and sick. I would get up early and drink 6 16-ounce Busch Light beers just to feel good for the morning. Story 65. It sounds rough, but exercise. You breathe and sweat out alcohol, so if you get a good sweat going, you'll get it out faster. Story 66. Take a pitcher and fill it with ice. Put a jug of Pedialyte in it and fill the rest with club soda. Carbonation helps it go down easier. Chug that fucker and pop for ibuprofen. Chuckles signed, alcoholic. Story 67. Having a natural tolerance that's high enough that getting drunk enough to have a hangover is extremely expensive. Story 68. Chuckles. Aspirin, a cold Coca-Cola, smoke a joint, eat some spicy Sichuan food. Works every time. Anthony Bourdain. Story 69. Sausages, eggs, and house fries for breakfast, plus Pedialyte all day along with a lot of water. Story 70. Try drinking a bottle of liquor and a good amount of beer. There will never be a cure for the hangover you'll get after that. Story 71. Menudo. It has to be from a carniceria or restaurant, though. That stuff from the store will only make a hangover slightly less debilitating. Oh, and Pedialyte. Always keep that on hand. Story 72. Set an alarm for an hour early. Get up, chug a bottle of water, and go back to sleep for the last hour. Story 73. A big spoonful of peanut butter and a glass of water before going to bed. It works like 90% of the time. Story 74. Grab a 20-ounce Gatorade. Drink half of it. Refill the bottle with similar flavored Pedialyte. Pound the bottle with 4 Advil. You'll be right as rain in 45 minutes. Story 75. As long as you're drinking water while drinking booze, you should be all right. I've never had a hangover in my 15 years of drinking. Story 76. 1 liter of liquid IV. Powder in electrolyte-infused water and 2 Motrin before bed. Life-changing. Story 77. Water, coffee, banana milk, liquid IV, and rest. Not all in that order, but banana milk can help with nausea. Story 78. Number 1. Don't eat dinner until I'm done drinking. If drinking starts after dinner, I am 100% screwed. Number 2. After dinner, consume 800 to 1,000 calories worth of chocolate. It works 60% of the time. Chuckles. Story 79. My hangover cure has been not drinking. I get hungover for days now. It just hasn't been worth it anymore. Story 80. Electrolytes, cardio, and pho or ramen. I'll shotgun a packet of LMNT or some other electrolyte powder, then go for a run or jog. The first 10 to 15 minutes will be a little grueling, but I always begin to feel better after that point. Then I finish with a bowl of pho or ramen. Story 81. Not getting one in the first place. Z-biotics or those Korean jelly sticks are magic. Story 82. I think it was a tall glass of water with a pinch of salt that helped. I seem to recall we drink the water warmish. Story 83. A few puffs of sativa, a liter of Mexican Coca-Cola, and the best greasiest chorizo and egg tacos you can find. Follow that up with an hour-long nap and a hot shower. Chuckles back in the game. Story 84. Drink water with an electrolyte sachet or tablet dissolved in it, and get some sleep. Some spicy food also helps. Story 85. I wish I would have seen this in the morning. For me, it's just Alka-Seltzer, water, and caffeine. Story 86. I take liver and kidney and B-thiamine supplements before bed and drink a ton of water. Story 87. Took Anthony Bourdain's advice, and it works every time. An Egg McMuffin, a Coke, and a joint. Story 88. Grilled cheese with bacon on it. A side of fries and ranch. As many fountain sprites as I can drink. 2 Advil liquid gels. Story 89. Slurpee, hash browns, pickle juice, and eventually another drink. It works every time. Story 90. I don't drink anymore. I stopped 13 years ago, but when I used to drink, lemonade was the cure for me. It works like magic after a full cup or two. Story 91. Take Advil cold and sinus and Gatorade before bed. Repeat in the morning. You're welcome. Story 92. Eggs have casein that helps break down acetaldehyde. Plus, as painful as it is, work out, get a good sweat, and hit the sauna. Caffeine, water, and electrolytes. It's like a reset button. Story 93, me reading this, hungover as shit. I don't know how everyone's remedy involves food. Even smelling food right now is making me gag. Story 94. Used to be 2 double cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a large Powerade from McDonald's. Now, I just don't drink anymore. Much easier, and I don't get to hear about how I was yelling at a professional wrestler who was apparently standing in the shower while I was vomiting. I don't know what the hell Grayson Waller was saying to me, but apparently I was not in agreement. Story 95. Water before bed. A long sleep, juice in the morning, orange or V8 with toast. If there's no juice, Gatorade can be okay too. I haven't had one in years since I got older, but that's mostly because I don't drink. At this point in life, the cure is more theoretical since I avoid getting one in the first place. Story 96. Sobriety. I've been hangover-free for 125 days in a row now. I don't miss drinking alcohol one bit. That stuff is straight poison. I'm not judging anyone else if they drink responsibly, but it's just not worth it to me anymore.
Congratulations on your sobriety. Days like today make me want to follow suit. Alas.
Story 97. If you're really messed up, I highly recommend an 4-drip. Otherwise, weed and sleep. Story 98. Chuckles. It depends on how bad the hangover is. Mild hangover equals pho. Big hangover equals Zofran. Major hangover equals pho and Zofran. Story 99. Here's a hilarious 10-step process. 1. Tacos. 2. Beer. 3. Advil. 4. Xanax. 5. Television. 6. Wank. 7. Nap. 8. Exercise like a walk in the park. 9. Lunch. 10. Another beer.